what's up? Welcome to Citrus Lane. I'm your host, Jess. Come watch some creepy videos with me, won't you?
Were you a part of the group that stormed Area 51 yesterday on December 1st? They got together with all their motorcycles and their, it looks like some of them have some sports utility vehicles there out front. But here is when they said, let's go! And they cruised over the sand dunes all the way to the front gates, and they charged through the gates. I think some of them got shot down, but one of them, his name is Jaime Gutierrez, and he said that he thinks he saw an alien finger hanging outside of a box. He said it was outside of one of the main buildings, and he was detained and put down on the ground and arrested, but he said he could see out of the corner of their eye there was a box, and it looked like there was an alien finger hanging out. And so I think it's quite incredible evidence that we might not be alone in this universe. I don't know if I agree with their means of storming Area 51. I think maybe they should have just, had a frank conversation with the government of like, we want to know what's going on in there. But what do you think? And were you part of this group? Were you part of the group?
Yeah, so it doesn't look like anyone stormed it. It looks like a rally of some sort. Like, there are no sand dunes around Area 51. It's high desert. It's lots of rock and trees, no sand. Yeah, dirt bite meat and Glamis. I don't even know if those are appropriate words, but yeah. Someone claimed to see an alien finger hanging out of a box isn't evidence. Yeah. He's kind of like smirking the whole time, too.
Sir, you can hear they communicate at very high frequencies, barely perceptible to the human ear. Don't worry, they're harmless. The liquid in these bathtubs neutralizes them. It's fascinating, these aliens. You see, I touch them and they don't really react. Sir.
That's so unnerving. I mean, it's AI, but if it is AI, I didn't realize that they could do sound in their videos now. Wow.
You want to know what's even more real proof that we're living in a simulation? Every day, you wake up, you're actually dreaming another dream. None of this is real. None of this is real. Even more proof that time doesn't exist. Bam. What if we are only living the same day on repeat, like those movies where the character is stuck in a day on repeat? But since we went crazy a long time ago, our brain just kind of blinked out of existence and was like, you know what? I'm just gonna pretend that it's a whole new day. Can't tell me I'm lying, and you can't prove me wrong. I'm just saying, we technically have only lived one day our entire life. A dream within a dream.
How to say nothing and sound crazy all at the same time. I like the, hold on, the like eye twitch around like here.
None of this is real.
Okay. You can't convince me what I just saw wasn't real, and that is the real travesty here. Wait, hold on.
You want to know what's even...
So, okay, I thought I had... Oh, them bills real as hell. That's what I thought I saw. The laugh and eye twitch scared me. It's pretty unnerving.
No, but how come you never see dead birds or dead squirrels after a hurricane? Proof we live in a simulation, part 4. Bruh, why is it that you chew up corn, but it comes out whole, the other end? You know what I'm saying? How is it that buses and cars take up the same amount of space on the road? When you're in the store and you can't decide on which t-shirt to buy or which kind of milk to buy, it's your player just AFK, away from keyboard, you know? You're just kind of in stationary mode while you wait for them to get back. And then when you walk into a room, your memory's wiped. Like you have no idea why you went in there. And maybe that's from the simulation uploading a new room, and it like has a wipe your memory button so it has the energy to like load the kitchen. It's like that theory where if you're not looking at something, it doesn't exist. Like whatever's behind me that I'm not looking at, it's not there right now until I turn around, and then it renders in like a video game. So like maybe when you walk into a room, it has to save memory by wiping your memory, save energy, and then upload the room. What do you think about these theories? Let me know your theories and your proof that we live in a simulation down below, and follow me on YouTube before that TikTok ban happens. You won't want to miss what's coming.
She looks like she's just enjoying her break. I don't want to shit on her. Because there is totally stuff behind her, clearly. But it could just be rendering because she's looking at a camera recording herself behind. Yeah. And a more interesting way to, it doesn't wipe your memory, but like maybe it's another instance of you. Like the moment you open the door and cross the threshold. Okay, so like in an old video game, that would be like that would be a part where the game loads more information. But in a modern video game, it all seems seamless. But maybe at that point you transition into another avatar version of you, and that's why your memory gets wiped. But we have figured out, at least our theory is that it's your brain, it's a glitch that happens because your brain is quickly trying to figure out your new environment, and in that figuring out process, you forget why you originally came in. So a lot of times, if you just backtrack and go where you were previously, where you thought about, changing rooms, you'll remember why you'll remember what you were doing. I wish I could have said that more eloquently, but you get what I'm trying to say.
The Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight was rigged. Look at how Mike was fighting against Roy Jones at 54 years old, and take a look at this counter. Roy goes in with a jab, and Mike slips to the outside and immediately counters him with a left hook. Now compare this with the Jake fight. Mike would go to all the trouble of closing the distance on Jake but wouldn't counter. Jake throws a big right hook and Mike slips under it. Jake is completely open and out of position while Jake is in range, but Mike doesn't counter. Instead, he just throws his hands and waits till Jake covers up and backs out of range. Again here, Jake feints a jab, then goes for a left hook that he abandons since Mike slips, but Jake's guard is open and Mike loaded up his left hand, but he doesn't throw it instead. He just stands up. Was the fight rigged? And if you don't believe me, let's take a look at what Jake himself said when he was getting into boxing.
At the end of the day, I've been in this sport for a year now, and I probably shouldn't be saying this, but all of this shit's fucking rigged. You see people whining and dining each other. You see people at Staples Center. This sport's rigged for sure.
The Jake Paul versus...
I wish that was like a slowed down clip, but yeah, I mean, that was totally rigged. I don't think anybody's happy with what happened in that fight. No, that was garbage. And I included it on here because it's like, I don't know, kind of conspiratorial a little bit, because it was like, if it was rigged and they fucking tricked everybody into watching this fake boxing match, then like a lot of people deserve to have their money back. Like, I didn't spend anything. I don't have Netflix now because of their horrible buffering issue. Like, come on, get your platform together. What is wrong with you to be the largest platform and not able to handle that much traffic? That's ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, the people who actually went and saw in person, like, I hope they're like pursuing legal action, because that was fucking stupid.
This is proof the Paul brothers rigged their fights. In the first round of the Mike Tyson fight, Mike was getting to Jake and landing some shots until this clinch. People are saying in this clinch, Jake asked Mike to calm down, similar to how Logan asked Floyd to calm down during their fight. And Mike agreed by tapping Jake on the shoulder, so Mike began to pull his punches and avoid countering Jake. If you don't believe me, here's a video of Jake Paul admitting boxing is rigged when he first started.
I've been in this sport for a year now, and I probably shouldn't be saying this, but all of this shit's fucking rigged. You see people whining and dining each other. You see people at Staples Center. This sport's rigged for sure. 100%.
This would explain why Mike said in an interview that he doesn't care about his legacy and he's only looking out for the future of his family.
Legacy doesn't mean nothing. That's just some word everybody grabbed onto. I want people to think about me when I'm gone. Who the fuck cares about me when I'm gone? For my kids, maybe a grandkid.
This is proof that
okay, and I mean, yeah, maybe people shouldn't care about it that much, but like, now your legacy is that you threw a match for some money. Like, like in the sense that your grandkid, people that's going to come up in the future to your grandkids. Oh, you're Mike Tyson's kid, the guy who threw that fight with Jake Paul. Like, I don't know. I mean, definitely people shouldn't harp on it so much. I get what he's trying to say, but if that's him trying to justify taking lots of money to throw a fight, well, that's really seedy and not cool.
Governor Maura Healey says she is aware of these sightings and monitoring it closely, but that's not exactly comforting to people who are seeing these drones flying right around their house.
This is so hard to see, but it's flashing and it's stagnant.
From the Cape,
those are all drones,
to the Granite State.
Is this a spacecraft?
Dozens of people across Massachusetts and New Hampshire are catching unconfirmed sightings on camera, similar to the drones that have been seen flying around New Jersey in recent weeks.
I mean, they were huge.
Lindsay Muto says a dozen drones were hovering around her home in Harwich, so she called the police.
It's very concerning and unnerving and unsettling.
The Harwich chief sent out a release to let people know police are aware. He says an off-duty officer saw 2 similar drones near the station that same night.
We don't know what these are. We don't know if they're associated. They're just similar to the reports from other parts of the country.
Meanwhile, more than 150 miles away, a family in Barrington, New Hampshire saw a similar sight. These 8-foot-long drones hovering around 200 feet above ground.
We never thought we would see it on our backyard.
The roar was a different roar. I'm retired military, so it was something that I haven't heard.
Now, both Massachusetts and New Hampshire State Police are aware of these reports of drone sightings. The FAA is keeping a close eye on it as well. FBI Boston declined to comment. Governor Maura Healey says she is aware of the...
Still not seeing any down in, the Kentucky area, but I'll keep you posted.
We have an interesting case brewing in Wyoming. This footage comes from a man who has been hearing this unidentified creature late at night near his home. He caught it on video. Now, he knows his local wildlife. They have coyotes, owls, and an occasional wolf. This isn't that. And even his neighbors have heard this creature and they have no idea what it is. He decided to stay out late one evening to try to capture a picture of it. And boy, did he. But now, even more questions arise. He said by his naked eye, it looked like a very big, and we're talking massive, bird-like creature. And when we look at the photos, it looks prehistoric. Dinosaur prehistoric. Take a look at this and tell me what you think.
It's so dark. The text just says he's been hearing them for a while. Can anyone help me identify what's making them? This last photo was taken last night around 10:20 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Look closely within the second shadow in the road ahead. Close up. Oh wow, it does look. Wow. I thought there's a bunch of comments that are like, Velociraptor, they're common in Ohio. We have Velociraptors before GTA 6. I didn't think it was actually going to look like that. Oh my God. Somebody said dodo bird or a Whoopi Goldberg. It does look like a Roadrunner if that Roadrunner was slightly reptilian.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the most...
Oh my God, that's so unnerving. I hated it. How does it look so good and so bad at the same time? That's so weird. Somebody who's a good boy. Who's a good boy? Gross.
So this cryptid might actually be real, and no, it's not Bigfoot. This cryptid is known as the Orang Pendek from Sumatra.
Are you sure about that?
And it translates to short person from Indonesian.
Oh.
Stories of the Orang Pendek go back decades and decades, with the majority of the sightings coming from the jungle floor. Those who have seen the Orang Pendek say that it looks like a very small human. Although it does have quite a lot of ape-like features, those who have seen it swear that it looks much more like a human being. It's said to be covered in red brownish hair or fur, and it's said to measure approximately 4 to 5 feet tall. It's also described as walking upright on 2 feet, but a very distinguishing feature of the orang pendek is its hair. The head of the orang pendek isn't covered in the same hair that the rest of its body is. It's actually said to grow hair like a human does from its scalp. But above all, it's said that its face resembles much more that of a human being as well. And as for its body shape, many people reference it as being similar to that of a lightweight boxer. Skeptics will tell you that the orang pendek is nothing more than just an orangutan, and this could very well be the case since orangutans do live in Sumatra. But those who have seen the orang pendek swear that it's just not an orangutan because the body compositions are completely different. Orangutans are much larger inside and they have protruding bellies and very long limbs, whereas the orang pendek is said to be much smaller in stature, and you can tell right away just by looking at it. And then there's this video. This is just a screenshot. It was taken from a GoPro when motorbikers crossing the Indonesian jungle came across a very strange creature. They had absolutely no idea what it was, but in the full video you can see it just running into the jungle. For the full video, check out my YouTube. I just did a full-length video on the orang pendek and along other cryptids that could very well be real. The link is in my bio. Let me know what you guys think.
I don't know why I roll my eyes. I'm on YouTube right now. I guess because I don't want to have to change platforms. I'm already doing this. Somebody said, "Hear me out. It's a baby orangutan." I mean, from the sound of it, it's a miniature Bigfoot.
Fucking thing. It's staring at me. It followed me home from the gifting rock. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning right now. I think I don't know what to do. But it followed me home and it is absolutely staring at me right now. Have a look. Okay. Get the other side. Oh, damn. Holy shit. All right.
I mean, you don't have to be so loud.
Oh, damn.
Oh, damn.
Son of a bitch is one on the other side of the house. Oh.
I was trying to, I don't know necessarily what a gifting rock is, but it seems like it's a place where people usually leave stuff for Sasquatch. But like, okay, so if you're doing stuff like that, why are you surprised that something followed you home? What? Maybe somebody, yeah, brought this on. It's a mountain lion. Yeah, I'm sure a mountain lion. Well, I don't, how tall is his roof, and are there any trees outside? Why would you go back outside? Well, he was a very curious person.
Oh, I made it to the caves. Wait, what is that? Oh my god, what is that? Grandpa, do you see that?
Oh my god!
Run!
Get out of here.
Oh, I made it.
Why is bro playing the saxophone? It's a flute. Also run. Yeah, but they said run like jokingly.
Creepy cryptid stories never fail to freak me out, and the story of the Flatwoods Monster is one I will never forget. It's become somewhat of a local legend for the residents of Flatwoods, West Virginia, but when this unknown creature visited the town over 70 years ago, it was terrifying. On the evening of September 12, 1952, a group of boys were playing on the lawn of the Flatwoods Elementary School when suddenly, out of nowhere, this bright light flies across the sky and appears to crash into the nearby hillside of G. Bailey Fisher's farm. It could have been a meteorite, but the boys decided they had to check it out for themselves, because what if this was a flying saucer and aliens were on board? Before heading out to investigate for themselves, two of the boys who lived nearby, 13-year-old Ed and 12-year-old Freddie May, stopped by their house to let their mom Kathleen know what was happening. And at first, Kathleen was not convinced. A flying saucer crashing into their small West Virginia town didn't even seem like a possibility, but when she stepped out onto the porch, she saw it too. This pulsing red light glowing from the hillside the boys had described. That was all Kathleen needed. She decided that she wasn't going to let the boys go alone, so the group, along with 17-year-old Eugene Lemon, a National Guardsman, and his dog, set out to see what was going on. As they climbed the hill, Eugene used his flashlight to light their way. The closer they got, the air seemed to grow warmer, and then there was this thick sulfur-like smell that stung their throats and made their eyes burn. When they finally reached the top of the hill, they saw it. On the ground below the hill was this massive glowing object. Some described it as a ball of fire, while others said it was a flat-topped object as big as a house. The descriptions varied, but one thing was clear: this was not normal. Then Eugene's flashlight caught something else. Two glowing lights under an oak tree nearby. When he pointed the beam in that direction, they saw something they'd never forget. Floating above the ground beside the tree was a 10 to 12 foot tall figure, and the sketches of this thing are horrifying. It's this large creature with almost a hood-like object on top, wearing a metal dress with folds of fabric. Its hands are twisted and clawed, and where a face should have been, there were only glowing orange circles. As the creature moved closer, a strange oily substance hit the group. Some of the boys felt it on their face. Kathleen noticed it spatter onto her dress. Obviously, they were overwhelmed with fear, and they decided to turn around and run home as fast as they could. If they thought they left whatever happened out there, they were wrong, because some of the boys started to experience severe throat irritation, vomiting, and nausea that lingered for days after the encounter. Kathleen called the sheriff's station to report the incident, but the sheriff was already tied up investigating another unusual report. A hitchhiker had claimed to see a small plane burn up in the sky and crash nearby. But when the sheriff and his deputy arrived at that site, there was no trace of any crash, and later when they made their way to the hillside, they found nothing. That night, a local man, Mr. Stewart, who was a photojournalist and Air Force veteran, went back to the site with a couple of the boys to investigate. There was no evidence of the creature or the pulsing red light, but everyone back at the Mays house was convinced that what they saw was real, and they had symptoms to prove it. When Mr. Stewart sniffed the ground near the reported site, he noticed the strong metallic sulfuric odor, almost like mustard gas, but he felt like there was something distinctly different about it. The next morning, Mr. Stewart returned to the site and discovered skid marks leading to a flattened patch of grass along with a thick black oily residue. These marks would later be attributed to a pickup truck driven by Max Lockhart, who had reportedly gone up to the site in search of the creature hours earlier. That same day, Kathleen was visited by two men in suits claiming to be journalists from Clarksburg who wanted to investigate the site. She agreed to take them there, and they inspected the skid marks and the oily residue. The men came back the next day and they revealed the truth. They weren't reporters at all, but government officials from Washington, D.C. They questioned Kathleen about the oily residue and the dress she had worn during the encounter. They took it, they promised they'd return it, but they never did. Kathleen said a month later she received a letter from the Pentagon. Enclosed was a photograph of something resembling the creature, and according to the letter, on the night of the encounter, the military had launched 4 experimental rocket ships. One of them had reportedly experienced mechanical issues, leaking oil. The Pentagon's explanation implied that what the group saw was one of these rockets and its crew. But the Mays family and Eugene Lemon weren't the only ones to have a terrifying encounter with this mysterious being. Just one night after the sighting, a family traveling through a rural area between Clay and Braxton County experienced the same thing. As they drove along the dark road with their 18-month-old son, the car suddenly died. The engine cut out and they were left stranded in silence. As they tried to figure out what to do, this strong sulfuric smell filled the air and their baby began to cry. Then, out of nowhere, a bright light illuminated the darkness and a towering 10-foot creature appeared hovering in front of their car. But this creature wasn't wearing a hood. Its head appeared reptilian-like, and it dragged its lizard-like hand across the hood of their car before slowly drifting into the woods. The moment this thing disappeared, the car restarted on its own and the family sped away in terror. News of the sighting in Flatwood spread quickly, gaining traction in the media. Paranormal researchers and curious visitors ran to the small town, eager to hear first-hand accounts. Of course, many locals came forward, claiming to have seen the glowing red light flying through the sky or even the creature itself. But skeptics were quick to offer explanations, like the creature was probably the shadow of a barn owl sitting in the oak tree, and the glowing red light in the sky was a giant meteorite breaking apart as it entered the atmosphere, releasing gas as it landed. But if it were just a meteorite, why wasn't there any trace of it? The mystery even caught the attention of the US Air Force, with the incident documented in their Project Blue Book. Today, the Flatwoods Monster remains one of West Virginia's creepiest legends, behind the Mothman, of course, which I do have a video on. The town of Sutton has a museum dedicated to the monster, and 5 massive chairs painted like the monster are scattered across the county. Whether you see it as folklore or something more sinister, one thing is for sure: whatever happened in Flatwoods, West Virginia in 1952 sent chills on the residents' spines. So what do you think? Do you think the Flatwoods Monster is real? Do you think it was a hoax, a meteorite, a barn owl? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments. And while you're there, make sure to let me know what other creepy cryptid stories, urban legends, or cases you want to see me cover next. Till then, I look forward to seeing you in another video.
That was awesome. I have heard of the Flatwoods Monster before, but you know, she did really well at elaborating the story of it. And there was one thing I kept getting distracted by, was just the style of TikTok videos. If it's really long like that, then you keep seeing their arm clip up because I was doing the wrong arm. Because they have to shut off the video every time, and I'm so dumb, it was distracting me. But that was still really cool. It was probably just folklore, but I like the idea of things being more fantastical than that. I also wish I had the patience and discipline to sit down and do essay type videos like that.
Did you know that all this fog is actually a smoke screen, or like a mask for the Federation, so they can do all their nefarious activities without us seeing? Look how dense it is. Their drones disguised as planes out into the sky and leave a mist that creates this fog here, and it helps cover all their different activities that they do and keep it hidden from us. So yeah, watch out in the skies when it's foggy like this, guys. That means they're doing extra work right now. Stay safe, guys.
One of the comments was being like, I don't know, man, I think it's just fog. And then he responded, I wish it was.
You know the Andy Williams song, The Most Wonderful Time of the Year, and the lyrics, there'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. Where exactly did that come from? Did you know that Christmas wasn't always the family-friendly holiday that we know today? In fact, it used to be a lot darker, and ghost stories were a huge part of it. For centuries, winter was seen as a time for sad and scary tales, perfect for the long, dark, and cold nights. And back then, people worked through Christmas, and the holiday was seen as anything but wholesome. The Puritans even tried to cancel Christmas because it had become a time of debauchery and scandal. But during the Victorian era, spiritualism was at its peak, and Charles Dickens changed everything. In 1854, he even called Christmas the witching time for storytelling. A Christmas Carol not only transformed Christmas into a family-centric celebration, but it also solidified the tradition of telling ghost stories. This tradition has roots in ancient pagan customs surrounding the winter solstice, believed to be a time when the veil between the two worlds was thinner. It was the perfect setting for eerie tales of the unknown, so why not bring it back? Light a candle, gather your spooky crew, and share some ghostly tales this holiday season. After all, Christmas is the most wonderful time of the year. Or a scare. Merry Creepmas!
I too had wondered about that lyric, because we heard that song the other day, and I was just like, what? What about ghost stories? I mean, there are like lots of scary Christmas crossover stuffs, but like, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Like some... you know what? I'm just gonna go with it. I think I heard it, and now it's true.
I just learned something shocking, and it's giving me absolute goosebumps. Did you know Christmas is based on evil spirits and has nothing to do with Jesus? Its origins are so creepy. It's freaking me out, guys. It all started as a festival to worship the god of magic called Odin, a figure tied to death, fear, and even human sacrifice. Like, what the hell? This god of magic was a chubby man with a beard who on Christmas Eve would fly in the sky on an 8-legged horse. He would climb down your chimney, and people would leave out milk and offerings to please him, so their house wouldn't be cursed by the evil spirits. Who does this remind you of? Ho ho ho. Also, this god had evil spirit helpers that would watch your every move. And guess what they were called? Elves. Ugh. Oh my god. Next, people would jingle bells and sing songs through the streets at night. Do you know what's even creepier? People would even go to people's houses wearing masks to impersonate the dead. They would sing you songs, and if you didn't give them charity, they would curse your house. This is where it gets even creepier. The Christmas tree. This was the home of evil spirits. People would place dead animals as ornaments on the tree. This was seen as a blood sacrifice to these spirits to keep them happy during the winter. Like, what is going on right now? Now, this is the worst part. Today, we've all been brainwashed. Christmas has turned into this religious celebration. Santa Claus, gift giving, this is all a marketing campaign. This was from Coca-Cola and big corporations trying to pressure you into spending all your savings on their products. Sorry guys, but I'm boycotting Christmas this year. What are we really celebrating? What do you guys think?
Yeah, the origins of some of the aspects might be a little, you know, humans haven't always been the way we are now. Traditions change over time. Like, you don't, yeah, it in some ways it is marketing. I don't get when people say it's religious. Like, just because Christians and Catholics believe that Christmas is one of the cornerstone holidays for them, it doesn't seem to have any religious connotations. Santa Claus isn't a religious figure, even if he is based on Saint Nicholas, or if you want to go back even further, even if he is based on Odin, which is just a Nordic god. That's not, he also wasn't just the god of magic. Like, he was the father, the Norse father. I might even be saying that wrong. The All-Father. Yeah, like, no, I'm not boycotting Christmas. Like, that's fucking dumb. Reading all of that and then still not sitting and being like, oh, well, but it's still about the spirit of giving and doing for the less fortunate and, you know, going that extra mile for your family and your, you know, your loved ones. That's so, oh my God. What are we even celebrating? You're celebrating the concept of, like, giving to others. Like, it's not about getting gifts. It's about giving gifts. It's about giving to people. Bruce Campbell plays, they do a Santa Claus episode, or a Santa Claus episode, like a Christmas episode for the librarians, and Bruce Campbell plays Santa Claus, and he, like, goes through all the different iterations of Santa. It's really cool. I recommend it to anybody interested in that sort of, like, TV drama stuff. But no, this girl's crazy.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We are once again reminding the world
that Christmas is not pagan.
Seriously.
Did pagan festivals on December the 25th predate Christmas celebrations?
History says no.
Are decorated trees an inherently pagan symbol?
Pretty sure God got there first.
There are no causative links between modern Christmas practices and pagan traditions.
But even if there were...
Seriously, there's not.
The date and decorations are only the box.
What's inside the box is what really matters.
And Christmas is all about Jesus,
the Son of God,
heaven's light,
humanity's hope,
Prince of Peace.
So, ditch the dumb conspiracy theories.
Ignore the internet Grinches.
Get along to church.
And come, let us adore him.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, I went to Catholic school, I went to midnight masses and stuff. I still don't get Christmas being like this religious holiday. You don't have to want to celebrate Jesus to have Christmas spirit. It's not about, no, I don't agree with that at all. Christmas is not about celebrating Jesus Christ. So, Christmas is about doing for other people. I just, yeah, even having gone to, like, sure, some of the, like, I respect Wes Huff on there. I don't know any of the other people on there, but, like, I'm not telling anybody not to believe in what they believe. I'm just saying that for me, I don't think of it that way. I think of it more as there was this, the way it was always explained to me growing up, and the way that I think sounds the best is there was this guy, Saint Nicholas, and sure, there might be other iterations of him, but what we know of as and what our traditions are based off of is Saint Nicholas going around and giving to the less fortunate. I that is what Christmas is. That's what it will always be. That's what it's been commercialized to be. Like this inclusion that, oh, but it's also this religious thing, and Christians have to go to midnight mass, and Jesus was born here on this day, and blah, blah, blah. I think that's just, no, I don't have anything to do with any of that. Nah, winter's always been my favorite season. I wish it snowed like that more often here. It snows like that sometimes, but that's so pretty. That was the palate cleanser. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. We are getting closer and closer to that 500 goal. I'm very grateful. Thank you. Very grateful. Like, comment, subscribe, do all those things if you feel like it, but you don't have to. It's not a requirement. I still love you. Have a good rest of your Wednesday night, and I will see you guys next Monday. Bye. Get your Christmas shopping done. You're running out of time. Bye.